Hey y'all, I'm Brooke Hoover, a Louisiana native, actor, writer, and comedian. I've lost 100 pounds through diet and exercise, or shall I say, lifestyle changes. My 20-year and counting health journey has taught me that just like taking a diet pill for weight loss, body positivity doesn't magically happen overnight. I'm working on regaining my self-esteem and rekindling my love affair with Cajun and Southern comfort food in a healthier way, all the while juggling eating as clean as I can, reestablishing myself in the entertainment industry, which, as we know, is historically fat-phobic, all the while showing my inner fat girl some love. That's fat with a PH. Pretty hot and tempting. Let me tell y'all a tale or two. Hey y'all, today's episode of Who's Dat Fat Girl is I Like to Move It, Move It. Remember that song from back in the day? So exercise, it makes the world go round. A lot of people ask me how I lost the 100 pounds, and I'm like, diet and exercise, hello, like it's some magical formula, and really that is what it was. I'm going to talk to y'all today about almost every single thing I tried exercise-wise that I tried and failed at, and then finally how I succeeded. So back in the day, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, as we know. So the 80s was all about like, get physical, and leg warmers and leotards and those shiny, shiny tights and those little belts around a leotard because, hello, don't we all need a belt around a leotard to hold it up? Spandex isn't doing its work. So I think my first foray into exercise was I had this kit called, and my dad still talks about it to this day, Get in Shape Girl. It was called Get in Shape Girl. And it was like leg warmers and little weights and a little headband, you know, because we all need a sweaty headband. I can't stand those sweaty headbands. And then obviously flash dance really inspired me to not only want to be a welder, but to want to be a dancer at night as well. No, but it's just very inspiring to get up and move. And I also like to do fun things. I mean, we're talking young, growing up. Trampoline. We would play baseball in our front yard with friends. I did dance. I loved to swim. Just loved it. Loved physical activity. It was super fun. Super fun. That's such a funny thing to say. Super fun. Super cool is what a lot of French people say that I know. But exercise was fun, and then it started becoming less fun. Like the minute, it wasn't a minute, maybe it was a day or a year, a month, a week, that I realized I was overweight and that exercise was a form of punishment for fat people. So it's like I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to be punished. But then, because I'm masochistic a little bit, I also did want to punish myself. So one day in the late, mid-90s, I put on LaBouche and my Walkman, and I said, you know what, I'm going to go just run around the whole block. So I left Creek Round Avenue and I was going to go down the next block around the cul-de-sac and come back. And I did. And I played Another Night, Another Dream. Another night, another dream, but always new. I played that on repeat and I did that. And I said, man, that felt great. I don't even know how far I went. It was maybe, in hindsight, like a half mile or so, which isn't bad for somebody who hadn't been exercising for a while, who is technically overweight, to be doing without any doctor recommendations or anything of that sort. I was maybe 14 years old. And I said, that felt great. I was a little winded. Hell, I was a lot winded. And I said, I'm going to do this every single day. I did not do it every single day. I did not even do it the next day. And here's where exercise is hard for a lot of people, including myself. At least it was, because I viewed it as something I had to do. Like, I must do this in order to be this way. So I said, you know, maybe let me try some other things. Maybe that jogging just didn't work. I thought it was the exercise itself, not my mindset about the exercise. about exercised, not my mindset about the exercise. So I tried some other things, such as I was still in dance. I always feel like I have to say dance. I was still in dance, but dance just wasn't physically grueling enough. I know that sounds so, again, masochistic. Let's say that word 3 times in a row today. But dance just wasn't quite cutting it, because clearly if dance alone was cutting it for me, then would I have been overweight? Who knows? It's like, who cares? I just wanted at that time to not be the chubby girl. So then I said, you know what? Rollerblading is fun. So I had all the pads except for the helmet, because I didn't want to look like a complete douchebag. But I had elbow pads, wrist guards, knee pads, of course. And I had this Maurice Francois Jabot top. I had like 5 or 6 different Jabot tops, because I was wearing menswear before menswear was very popular. And that was my rollerblading outfit. Some shorts from Express and my Jabot top. And I would go rollerblade. And I did it, but I didn't do it consistently. You know, it's just like I just couldn't do it consistently, either because of school or because of dance or because of after school, or just because it started to feel like something I had to do to be a certain way. So my mom had all these tapes from Richard Simmons, VHS tapes. I loved Richard Simmons. And that was fun because, again, it was dance, but like cardio dance. And everybody was dressed in fun colors. Everybody was all different shapes and sizes, which you did not see at all elsewhere in the 80s or 90s. No, there were no overweight people in exercise videos except for those of Richard Simmons. So I felt part of, but I maybe just did those like once a week or so. Again, there was no consistency. I remember one time my little cousins came over and they were watching me do it and they were laughing. And I was like, are they laughing because I'm kind of doing the moves a little funny, like, you know, or are they laughing at me because I'm one of the overweight people exercising? The world may never know. I mean, I could easily ask my little cousins, but it's neither here nor there. They were 7 or 8. It's not a big deal. But why do I still remember that? I also did 8-minute abs. Do y'all remember all those 8-minute buns, 8-minute arms? I did all the 8-minute ones, the 8-minute abs and the 8-minute arms, especially because my butt has always kind of been not so much a problem, if you will. I suffer from what my dad says our family has no ass at all, which means no ass at all. Needless to say, the 8-minute abs was fun, but if you have a lot of fat on top of abs, you're not going to lose the fat. And is that really cardio? But again, see, I'm talking from a place of punishment. There were also these leotard ladies. I forget their names, but they were the leotard ladies with belts and like blue and pink. And they would do these oblique things that actually are kind of like a version of when you go into triangle for yoga. So it really does tone your obliques. It wasn't a lot of jumping, a lot of sweating. So here's the deal. I didn't like to sweat. From South Louisiana, lived in South Louisiana, but I did not want to sweat because my mom actually would help me almost every night straighten my hair. So we would do blowouts. So I didn't want to ruin the blowout. This is insanity. This is insanity. And this is what we go through as people. This is what we put ourselves through. This is what society puts ourselves through, and that we are trying to dig back out of, of that hole, if you will. Something else I tried, I was a huge fan of all the infomercial things too. So the 8-minute abs were part of the infomercial exercises, but there was also things you could buy, such as this thing that looked like a rocket ship, and you put it over your abs and you crunched and you could really feel it. Like, honestly, even underneath all my fat, I had very toned abs because I really focused on all these ab things. And then there was something that these people had, slippery surface, kind of like a treadmill, but basically just that surface, like a yoga mat, if you will. But it's super slippery, and you buy sliders and you put them underneath your tennis shoes and you slide back and forth. I said, oh, that looks so much fun. But the real one, the OG one, was hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So we bought the bootleg one from Walgreens, and I ended up busting my butt way too many times. So then things started to kind of get a little bit more fun. I felt like there might be hope because instead of PE and being in the sweaty gym, you could do yoga. So we could do yoga in an air-conditioned room. The Spanish teacher, she taught yoga. So I tried yoga back in the day, and I liked it, but I didn't like the fact that a lot of the yoga poses made me need to fart. So for most of the yoga class, instead of stretching and exercising and doing shavasana, I was just trying to hold farts. There was a gym. There was a gym that my friend Heather went to, and she said, Brooke, let's go. You'll be my guest. We'll do a guest pass. I was like, oh, this is so much fun. So then the thing about having a guest pass is membership wants to talk to you and try to get you to become a member. And I thought this would be pretty cool. Mind you, it was on the complete other side of town from where I lived. But I went in and talked to the guy, and you could tell the guy who ran the gym really, really wanted me to be part of it. He must have been like, this girl is big. She needs to lose weight. Or let's change the perspective. Money, money, money. Little private school kid. Let me get her to be one of my members, and she'll bring friends and get more members. That's what it was about. But as a younger kid, I thought, oh, he wants you to go to the gym. And I said, oh, thank you. Thank you for the information. It was like $75, $100 a month, which, I mean, in my head, and it is a lot. I think it's a lot for this day and age. It was a lot for back then. And it was a lot for somebody who didn't get an allowance for that price. I never got an allowance. I always had to do chores and stuff or work at my dad's office to get money. But I said to the gym manager, owner, I said, thank you for the information. Let me talk with my dad. And he goes, any good father would let their kid just join a gym. I mean, if you were my daughter, I would just get you the membership. That still sits with me. And I think my dad actually did get me the membership, but I maybe used it once or twice. And I don't know, back in the day, I didn't know about cancellation policies, etc. And my parents weren't going to make me feel like crap. Obviously, they canceled the membership. But again, failure, failure, failure. I have failed at so many forms of exercising. So then we tried, which I talked about in an earlier episode about the tables, the tables similar to curves, the inches away tables where the tables do all the work for you. Yeah, they do all the work for you. Your body's not doing the work, so your body's not really going to expel the energy you're taking in. College, a little bit more active, but also gained the freshman 15. No, freshman 50. Here's why. We did dance. African dance really was my favorite thing. And I was thinking this could really set my cardio on fire. I loved it. This girl is on fire. I don't know why. I saw a billboard for Alicia Keys having a concert at the Hard Rock Casino the other day. So Alicia Keys is really in my mind. African dance, I said this could be my saving grace. I really love it, but I didn't do that till senior year. So throughout I was doing some dance, and we also do this thing every semester called Suzuki training, which was like very hardcore physical movement stuff. I don't really know how I did it. I don't know how I was also smoking and doing it. But again, we did it a lot, but not enough to really make those benefits last. Because what we would do, we would all be lazy, and those of us who had cars, we would drive to class, and we would be clever about parking in the theater parking lot because they only let teachers, professors, faculty with a badge park. We would drive around, go over like 4 sidewalk landscaping things, and sneak in the back way to park there. We would do anything to avoid walking. Nowadays, the difference is I do anything I can to get in those extra steps, right? But nowadays it's not for punishment. It's because this makes your body feel good. This makes your mind feel good. So things really started shifting when I graduated from college and I moved to Brooklyn, and we couldn't drive to class. You wouldn't want to drive anywhere because then you'd be looking for parking. I did still have a car, but I walked almost everywhere. I was like working girling it. That is a verb, with tennis shoes and, business attire. And I didn't really care because it was convenient. And that's when the weight loss started to happen. And I realized it's like the consistency of it. It wasn't like I was doing hardcore, another night, another dream, like jogging to La Bouche for, like 7-8 minutes of torturing myself. It wasn't like I was trying sliders that wouldn't work. I was just putting it into my daily routine. And that's what they all say to do, but it doesn't make sense until you are actually doing it. And that's what made me really start to like to exercise. And my mind and my body wanted more of it. So while in Brooklyn, I joined the YMCA. I used to live in Park Slope. Gosh, I miss that area every day of my life. And so I would even be extra crazy. I would walk a good round trip, probably 1.5 miles to the YMCA, YMCA. Couldn't get past that, could we? And I would swim at the pool. I moved to Jersey City, and it's kind of back to the situation of where I'm using my car more, kind of like in college. So I was already in the mindset of, I'm liking this moving. I'm liking this moving. And not just I'm liking it, I need it. Like my body needs to move, not to lose weight. Yes, to lose weight, but mostly to keep me sane. My body needs to just like feel that flow. And also, I'm an actor. You can't be stagnant. You have to move somehow. As fellow creative people, y'all will understand, you just have to keep the flow going somehow. And exercise really helped me do that. And it took a lot of steps along the way to realize that. So in Jersey City, I joined a gym, and it was a very pricey gym, but I'm thrifty. So I joined it at the off-peak times, which is great because I went when not a lot of people were there. And I've never been a huge class person. So I would do some of the classes during off-peak, but mainly I would do the pool and the exercise machines. And what I've realized is, for me, what works. It's important to find something that you can and want to do consistently. Even if it's just 10 to 15 minutes a day, it does pay off, y'all. I am living proof of that. Oftentimes, if I just have that amount, like just this morning, I just had 20 minutes and I did yoga. You could look on YouTube. That's what I do. We'll get to that in a second, of just like the amount of time you have and doing that. So consistency. You also want something that you could do easily. For example, I stopped going to the snobby gym in Jersey City, not because it was snobby, but because the parking started becoming an issue. So it's like, why am I making it harder? If exercise is not a punishment, why am I punishing myself to get there? It's too hard. Make it easy. Roll out of bed and exercise. Go walk in the park. Also, I needed to find something that was inexpensive and that fit my budget. So that's something that was the catalyst for me really quitting the gym and saying, what am I going to replace it with? YouTube videos. And some days I want to be active but not sweaty. Remember those days of me not wanting to sweat out my my hair blowout? Well, on those days, perhaps do yoga or Pilates or something where you won't sweat as much if you don't have time to wash your hair or even take a shower, for example. So nowadays, here's kind of my exercise regimen, because again, people are always asking what I do like it's some miracle. It's not a miracle. It's just so many screw ups, as y'all can tell. We're at like 18 minutes right now. It's 18 minutes of screw ups almost. So I have some wonderful friends who also are exercise teachers, practitioners, trainers, during the pandemic that really precipitated me to start doing a lot of Zoom or yoga videos. Because while I don't always like to do class in person, because again, sometimes me getting to the class can be a pain in the butt, I like the Zoom. So Debbie, she leads Buff Hussy. If you look at Buff Hussy on YouTube, she does some wonderful stuff, kind of HIIT based, yoga based. And I should let people know, if you don't know, HIIT is HIIT, high intensity interval training. That's great for ADD people like me, because it's like we do an exercise and we keep it moving to the next. 30 minutes on the elliptical doesn't work for me anymore. I like this kind of mindset. And Rebecca Vigil is also the same. She's an actor who also is an exercise instructor, and she does Zooms where it's of that nature too, HIIT, with a really fun playlist. So Debbie and Rebecca, shout out to y'all. I lost 30 pounds during the pandemic, and I credit it to not having enough money to eat. Well, that's a bad way to put it. Not wanting to waste my money on red meat. So really cutting down on my red meat and amping up the Zooms with Debbie and Rebecca. And also one of my best gals ever, Amy Fulgham, is a yoga teacher. So those are like my live people who I know face to face. And I have a plethora of YouTube people who I love, love, love. They're also on Instagram. They're all over the social media. Fit by Lori, Kush Fit, Jamie Kincaid. She does some wonderful, like, fun dance things, really uplifting you. Boho Beautiful for yoga, also Yoga with Adrian, Sarah Beth Yoga, Pop Sugar Fitness. So if you go and follow them on YouTube, obviously, as we know, YouTube will, with the algorithm, say you might like this video, and they'll do that. But you can also search, 10-minute yoga, 15-minute HIIT training. And one of my favorite exercises is Zumba. That reverts back to my love of African dance. But actually, there's wonderful African dance videos on YouTube that you could do. I'm trying to fight a burp right now because I'm getting very passionate and I'm getting a little sweaty. The takeaway today is exercise is not a punishment. It's a privilege. And I say that because I know there's many people out there, myself included, who have had injuries. I've had a herniated disc. I've had cystitis issues where it made it very hard for me to physically exercise. And, you get in that rut of being like, oh, I just want to like Netflix and chill all day. But then your body, and for me, it's more so even my mind at this point, want to exercise, because realizing that exercise is a privilege, that you are lucky that you have the body parts that you are gifted with, that you can use to make your body feel and make your mind feel even better, and make those two things work together. And you're doing exercise to serve you, to serve your mind and your body, not because you have to. It's more than I want to do it. No, I mean more like this. It's more, I'm not exercising because I have to. I'm exercising because I want to. But it's beyond that. It's serving you, and it just will eventually become part of your mind and body. And again, I do not want people to feel like they have to do, 30 minutes every single day. If you don't have time for that, that's fine. 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, even throughout the day. Whatever you can do is better than nothing. Do not beat yourself up, even if it's just 5 minutes a day for the time being, and then amp it up what's right for you. I also must let y'all know, as we know, I'm not a doctor. I don't yet play one on TV, so please don't take any of this quite as Bible, right? This is my experience. This is not medical advice. But I personally think we should all like to move it. I like to move it. I'm trying to think of a good ending for this, and there really isn't one, other than I've been cooped up in this little podcasting studio, aka my closet, if you will, and now I feel like I want to get out and move it. Thanks so much for listening, y'all. It is my hope to inspire, uplift, and entertain you with this Who's Dat Fat Girl podcast. So, if you're hungry for more, you can book me to speak or perform my solo show that inspired this podcast, Fat Girl Costumes, written by yours truly and directed by Brian Lady at your virtual or in-person event. Please visit brookehoover.com/fluffybuttproductions or email me at contactbrookhoover@gmail.com for more info. And let's follow each other on Instagram. I'm at Brooke Hoover, and the O's in my name are not the letter O, they're zeros. Not because I want to be a size 0, but because I guess I'm just so clever with my late 90s Yahoo self. And if you like this podcast, which I really hope you do, please give me a 5-star rating and write a review on Apple Podcasts. And most importantly, share this with your friends, family, and other people you may know who are as fat as we are. That's fat with a PH.